Hey, it's Kat of Kattalestv, and I'm going to try something different. I'm going to tell you a bedtime story. Over the last couple of weeks, I've met some very interesting people where I've had conversations about the Tory Lanez case. People from all different types of backgrounds, all different genders and races, and what was cool is I got to discover different ways to communicate, because I have this philosophy about great African teachers. I believe in my heart that our ancestors were marvelous teachers. Not necessarily here, but over there where we came from. But we forgot those skills. I always wanted to be a master teacher because I realize everybody learns differently. Some people are visual, some people are auditory, some people are a combination of different ways they learn. For instance, you'll see a dancer saying 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Or a coach or an instructor will be doing that. Then you have maybe a hip-hop dancer who's going chi cha cha, and different things work for different people, you know. So getting back to this story, because this case has dragged me into it deep. Like, I keep saying I've never had a case except Jeffrey Epstein, but that was such a dark descent into hell that it was almost too much for my mind to fathom. So that was something that I don't really want to even touch. Whereas this story is, I would say, more universal, because this story to me is about what makes a lot of us human. The best of us and the worst of what we all have in common. And what I mean by that is, if everybody just settled down and maybe laid down on a couch or a soft bed or a grassy lane, and just relax for a moment and took a couple of deep breaths and remember a time when you were fresh with ideas and bold and crazy and wild and free. And maybe you came from a crazy house where mom was always working and dad was always gone, or maybe you had the greatest family in the world. But you believed and you had a hope, and you were going to be the best of whatever you wanted to be. If you wanted to be a football player, you're going to be the greatest quarterback. If If you were going to be a singer, you're going to be the greatest singer. If you're going to be a designer, you're going to be the best designer. And if you're going to be an artist, you're going to be the greatest artist. But let's just say there was a girl whose daddy wasn't the greatest role model. And he necessarily wasn't around that much. But she did her best, and so did her mom. However, it wasn't perfect. And maybe that little girl had a fire in her, a desire to be all the things that her mom couldn't have been because of the situation she was in. But the little girl was going to be a star. All her mother's hopes and wishes and dreams and passions were going to be put in that little girl so she could do what her mother could not do. She could get all the fame and all the pretty clothes and all the attention. She didn't get it home. And she was going to be the baddest, the sexiest, the one that everybody wanted and everybody wanted to be. She was going to make everybody jealous. And maybe somewhere very, very far from Texas, there was a boy who was bright and charming and sweet. And he had a desire to be great, a desire to be a virtuoso, a desire to be a Romeo, a star, a light. Anyway, somewhere down this magical life, these two meet. And the girl, she put on this projection, this makeup of a person who didn't need anybody, who was better than everybody, who was loved and lusted after, and who every other girl was jealous of. And she meets the boy, who's now a man who has balls and a dick. And the charm of a Casanova. And possibly the voice of a god. Now there's a chunk of the meeting I don't understand and know for a fact, but the rumor is the savage, the little girl who became a stallion with round hips and voluptuous bosoms and flowing hair and a tongue faster than a snake, became a star. Everything her mother wanted, but now her mother was gone. And now that little girl who became this stallion was the envy of everyone. Everybody was dancing to her beat. And she felt this feeling that was, she knew was supposed to happen, but it was just different. It was like, all of her dreams were coming true, except she had no one to share it with, like intimately. I mean, it's different. She had a friend, a girlfriend that did her nursing, medical tests for her. And she was always there for her girlfriend. And the little girl who became the stallion didn't care about using other people because it was all the game, the hustle that her father possibly told her. And by the way, this story is allegedly and a fantasy and make-believe, like Hollywood, the magical stick. The stick, the dick. And then we get to the star, the Casanova, the liquid voice, the golden tongue. So the stallion tells her bestie, hey, I hear there's this really great guy. You should check him out. Maybe it was a test. Maybe it was to spy. Maybe it was to control. Who knows? But Kelsey and the Casanova start to dance. And Kelsey is smitten, and the Romeo, maybe 2 or 3 other girls on the side. Who knows? But Kelsey has this glow that the stallion never has seen in Kelsey. And Kelsey is happy and beaming with love and bragging about the star that she had found who fell from the sky. And then one day, Kelsey gets sick with COVID. And she's stuck alone at home. What do you call it? What was it? I forgot. Where you had to be quarantined, that wonderful word. You had to be quarantined away from other people back when COVID was hitting really hard. And it was the perfect opportunity for the stallion and the star to meet up alone in a room, sharing conversations and tequila and good food and maybe candlelight. And at the dining table, realizing there's something warm going on between them besides the tequila. And they kiss. And they fuck. And they kiss. And they fuck. And they fuck. And they kiss. And it's good. Really good. Almost too good. But it's not just the fucking. Because the stallion was bred to be tough and strong and independent and savage and wild and free. And she was seeing other people. The baby, Travis Scott, and whoever else she needed or wanted temporarily. Because at first she thought She didn't need anybody. She was the baddest bitch in the world. And she had a new hit song. All of her dreams were coming true. And then one night, she goes to a party. And they're in another woman's house, who's another kind of princess, fair and white and rich, and possibly with an agenda. An agenda that the stallion may not even be aware of, because the princess was just as wicked and narcissistic and cunning as the hustler, as the stallion. And she asked the stallion to bring the star. And although it was a party, it ended up being just 3 people in the pool. And then the stallion felt something she hadn't felt in a very, very long time. She felt alone. She felt abandoned. She felt that thing she felt when everyone she loved was gone. But worse yet, she felt a pang, a stab, a bite in something she didn't know she had, that she had forgotten. That beautiful beating heart she used to remember, she used to feel when her mom and her dad was alive. But this feeling, this rage, this abandonment mixed with, what was that word? Love? Love? Was it love? Was it jealousy? Was it abandonment? Was it trauma? Was it rage? Was it murder? What is it? I'm not in control? The rage she had when she saw him, the man who made her scream and come and come and come and come again. He was looking at another woman with that look that he'd given to her that night, that first kiss, the moment before, that moment before he kissed her. She saw that look in that motherfucker's eye, and she was enraged. She was destroyed. She was going to get him back. And that, in my opinion, is what happened. That was the motive. And then the rest of the shit happened. But what I'm trying to share with all of you is we have all had our own traumas. But when you get down to the nitty-gritty, a lot of that trauma is all one thing. It's losing control or feeling like you don't have any control and feeling alone and scared and vulnerable. I mean, I really believe Megan Pete, somewhere inside, is that little girl, that sweet little girl who'd been hurt and suffered losses too many times, and she became hardened and emboldened and infused with an ego and a false identity where she projected that she's the best and the strongest and the greatest ever and she can never lose. But the truth of life is all those sayings that seem redundant and trite when you first hear them, but they seem to have a truth. The pendulum swings up and the pendulum swings down. And people who project that they don't care and they don't give a fuck and they can steal everybody's man and they don't need anyone else are the loneliest, most insecure people, because they have to project such an extreme perfection that no one can live up to. Most human beings want love. And when you see it or you feel it for that time, sometimes there's that time where it just hits different. The sex is not sex, it's making love. And you fucked some people before, but this one's different. This one, it hurts, but it hurts good. And you love being next to them, and you love sucking their dick, and you love when they eat your pussy. But you're also scared shitless when you realize you are going to lose them, or you've lost them, or you can't control them when you need so much to be in control because you've lost so much before. So anyway, I hope you like my bedtime story. It probably won't be monetized. Maybe I'll put this on Pornhub. But yeah, this is Kattalestv. Leave a comment down below if you either can relate or you think I'm batshit crazy. Thank you so much. Watch my other videos. Bye.